Hey Internet, long time no see. I know I haven't done a video in a while. I'm actually in a much smaller apartment now, as the too long didn't read of that. I don't actually have room for a game room anymore. In fact, these boxes you see behind me, that's the game room. That's all of it right there. Anywho, I also may be fatter than last time you saw me. I can't really help that either. I like Oreos, so things happen. But I'm going to do an E3 wrap-up. You may notice I probably won't swear in this one. That's just a choice I'm making now because I have a bunch of little children that I'm related to or friends with or whatever, not in a creepy way. And they watch these videos and their parents don't want me to swear and I bow to pressure. So anyway, here we go. Ooh, is this a Beetlejuice? Aw, cool. Alright, so this does look cool, at least if it plays out like I think it will. It kind of looks like it's going to be like Tetris 99, where you have a whole bunch of human players or NPC players, or some mix thereof, and you start the level with 100 people, and they're all going through, and they're getting knocked out, or taking each other out, or whatever, and in the end, it's either the last man standing or the first one to the goal. And if that's the case, like basically a video game show, that looks kind of cool. And really, it makes a lot of scalability possible in the game. You know, with updates or patches or DLC later on, you could add new obstacles. You can kind of randomize the order they show up in the courses. I think this looks pretty sick if they do it right. So, keep your eye on this one.
Well, yes, and it looks like we are seeing Pokemon out in the field here, correct?
てるんですけれども、今リフレクターを出して、ちょっとチームを守ろうとしてます。はい。Thank you. こうするとみんながこう守備力が上がる。
Okay, so this is one we all expected to see. It's Pokemon. We knew the new games were coming. They've been talked about for a while, so here it is. And honestly, not super impressed. They took away random battles, which I don't think anyone asked for that. I know they could be a bit grindy, but it's an RPG. You expect it. I like the random battles. Plus, it makes it challenging to find the Pokemon you want. They don't just show up. You can't just target them. Also, this whole Dynamax thing, fine. It looks like a cool new mechanic, but let's not forget that you're also now forcing multiplayer raids, effectively, into what has always been a single-player game. Yes, you had trading, and you could occasionally do online battles, but the game itself was always single-player. You completed the whole thing on its own. There wasn't really a multiplayer aspect. Even in some of the latest iterations, aside from a few battles, it's always been single-player. So, I don't think this was necessary. Not super psyched about it. I did pre-order it, so I'm going to find out, but if this is the way Nintendo's going to go with this franchise, this might be the last entry I pre-order. Alright, so I was a latecomer to this series. I didn't play it until Tales of Berseria, and even that I didn't play until probably about 3 years after it came out. But when I did play it, I fell in love instantly. Amazing game. And after I beat it, I first wrote a letter to the company to say, hey, this was a great game, so thanks for that. True story, I really did. But then I went and played Tales of Zestiria? However the hell you say that. I just said hell. Hell's not a bad word. We can go with hell. Kids, don't say hell. But I haven't really played any of the earlier iterations. I didn't really know the origins of the lore and all of that. I actually do have a lot of the other games for the earlier consoles in the series. However, they're in these boxes. And as we covered earlier, not super accessible. So I haven't played them. But this new iteration, I can play. I'm going to play. And it will probably also be awesome because this series is great. Alright, so a Metroidvania of any sort is always cool. A Metroidvania that's horror-themed is really, really cool. But a Metroidvania that's horror-themed where you play as the villain, that's just the best thing that can go into my earballs. So, I'm excited for this, if that wasn't obvious from the words I just said.
Okay, Bullet. Let's find this kid.
Now, aside from video games, these things, one of my main passions is horror movies. I love horror movies. I collect them. I have hundreds of them. I'm actually starring in one soon. So horror movies are a big thing for me, if that wasn't clear. The Blair Witch is terrible. This was a blight on horror movies. It didn't introduce, but it made really mainstream and popular this found footage shooting style that movies then clung to, which really needs to die off. It's not good, it's rarely utilized in a way that's intuitive, fits in the story, and looks good. It's generally just shaky cam garbage and makes movies unwatchable. So creating a game off of this terrible franchise, terrible. Like, movie tie-in games are bad anyway, but one that ties into an already bad movie? No way in heck this will be good. So this was really unexpected. I mean, even with Hot Wheels being in Forza Horizon 3, this was still kind of out of left field. And originally, I wanted to say, hey, way to finally bring out the second expansion way after your game is irrelevant. But I did have the Season Pass. I already downloaded the expansion and played it yesterday because that's when it came out. And it's super fun, and a whole bunch of people were online also playing. So I take it back. It's not irrelevant. In fact, it made the game relevant again, which was probably their whole point. And yeah, good job. It was fun and clever, and I enjoyed it, and other people will too.
Wake the f*** up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest here. I know very little about this game. I know very little about the gameplay. I know very little about the story. I really only know two things. It's made by CD Projekt Red, and as far as I can tell, they can do no wrong, what with their policy and no loot boxes, and constantly doing DLC that's either free or it costs money, but it was something that was clearly made as an afterthought after the game and really adds value. And the other thing I know is that Keanu Reeves is involved in this game. So knowing those two things, I'm going to buy this. A lot. Okay, so a digital-only console that offers streaming and downloads of games, but no physical disc, and it's not made by a traditional game company. Yeah, that's original and new, and will definitely go over well. I mean, think of the Ouya.
Resolution and frame rates that we've never seen before. 8K capability.
Variable refresh rate.
Next-gen ray tracing. It's real-time because it's hardware accelerated for the first time ever.
What I'm personally most excited about is the SSD.
The combination of the SoC and the solid-state drive are really what gives you a totally new experience.
Alright, sure. So this sounds nifty. I mean, they didn't give us any specs, but they had, you know, some benchmarks and stuff, and I guess it sounds alright. I'll be curious to see when they elaborate on the backward compatibility more and make sure it encompasses everything and when they're going to close the gaps on all the games that aren't backward compatible yet. But I want to rewind for a second here.
The combination of the SoC and the solid-state drive are...
So, what? Like, does he not know what SSD stands for? Or does grammar just not exist in magical super Microsoft land?
It was an age of empires.
Okay, so no sarcasm or jokes here. Age of Empires 2 is a great game. Back when I did PC gaming, I was kind of in the middle of being into consoles when I was a kid and then being into consoles as a collector. I did a lot of PC stuff, mostly RTSs, and Age of Empires 1 and 2 were just huge for me. I played both of them all the time, loved them a lot. I can't even tell you how many hours I clocked on AoE 2. So this being remastered with just newer, better graphics and a completely redone score, that's amazing. This is an insta-buy for me, so yeah.
Imperial Sap Refinery lies dead ahead.
What does the Empire want with tree sap?
Nothing good. They refine the sap into a powerful compound, and they're rushing to expand production.
Alright, the Joker's in Star Wars. That's pretty cool. But then again, it's always had the Joker, so I guess another Joker's in Star Wars, which, still cool. As for the game itself, I don't know. I'll probably wait and hear some real-world reviews, or wait until my buddies over at Gaming Access Weekly just kind of review it and talk about what it's about, because I've been burned by Star Wars games in the past. I think we all have. So, I'm just going to hold off on this one. Alright, so this looks exactly like the old games. Just exactly like the old games. Maybe a little bit shinier graphics, but honestly, not really. However, that being said, nostalgia works for me. So, yep, totally gonna buy it.
There are 6 sirens in the universe. I used to be one of them. My name is Lilith, and I need you.
Alright, so it still has the cel-shaded graphics, and not in the loser cartoony way that Zelda will never get away from apparently, but more about that later. It still has shooting people, and it still has Claptrap. So really, I see no reason not to buy this game. The only thing that could destroy it is if they decide to go the loot box microtransaction route, and we'll see what they do there. Okay, now, as I'm sure you've all picked up from my previous videos, and especially my previous E3 wrap-ups, I'm not really an FPS person, but I will clarify on this. I'm not an online-only competitive FPS person. When it's single-player, story-driven, good shooters, I'm on board. You know, Prey, for example, great. The Wolfenstein games, all the way back to the original, love them. Doom, awesome. And this Doom, in particular, looks like a beautiful, hectic, disorganized, demonic mess. And I love it. Alright, now, as you may have noticed, I didn't actually include anything from the trailer. The reason for that is because there's nothing in the trailer. It's a couple pre-rendered cinematics, and that's it. No idea of gameplay. I don't even know what the genre of the game is. It really tells you nothing at all. All we know is it's made by George R.R. Martin. And that's cool and all, I like his books, but his show was boring. Yes, everyone disagrees with me. Don't care, still boring. If it takes 2 seasons to get interesting, it's a crap show. So, that being said, don't really care about this game. Alright, now, I would buy this game just to hear this soundtrack again. Best soundtrack in the franchise. Probably the best soundtrack in gaming. If you disagree, that's cool, you're allowed to be wrong, but it is. But soundtrack aside, they made the game look just really charming and cute and good, and I'm definitely going to buy this, and all of you should too, especially because we're at a generation now where most people buying games today may not have played Link's Awakening, and let me tell you, you missed out. Also, to clear up any confusion real quick, because I know there is some confusion out there, the order of Zelda games, from best, top 5, is Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Oracle of Time, Legend of Zelda, Link's Adventure. You can disagree if you want, that's cool. Like I said earlier, you're allowed to be wrong, but that's the order, you're welcome.
Hello? Mario.
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I've never played a Luigi's Mansion game. They always looked interesting, they looked fun, I wanted to play them, I've bought them all, they're in these boxes somewhere, but it just hasn't happened. Other things have been on the top of my to-play pile and they just never made it to the list. But who knows, maybe this one will be it. I doubt it, because I have another dozen Switch games that also haven't been played yet, but hey, here's hoping.
You know that old saying, never meet your heroes? Well, I did. And it was awesome!
Alright, now I'm definitely down for a new Avengers narrative, and I think the whole world is after the movies came to an end. I mean, they're not ending, they're obviously making more, but that franchise is done. So, I'm down for this game. I'm curious, however, to see if the narrator talk-over voice thing in the trailer is also the narrator in the game, and if it's a new character being introduced, or if it's just some voice.
This is the story of one Watcher.
I think it's been well established. I like JRPGs. If it hasn't, and you're confused, let me clear it up for you. I like JRPGs. That being said, this one is made by Square, which is one of 5 companies that when they create a JRPG, which I've now said too many times and no longer sounds like a real word, it's gonna be a good game. Square, along with Nisa, Gust, Falcom, and Namco Bandai, those are the ones that just, when you see their name on a game and there's a spiky-haired anime-looking protagonist, it's going to be a good game. That being said, this is going to be a good game.
Death by our hands is not an honor they have earned. They deserve something much worse.
Even with this stone at my command, this may not be a battle we can win.
Whatever's happening, we can beat it. Keep fighting.
Alright, well, this looks like it has quite the roster. Every trailer I see, there's some more characters in it. There's quite a bit of characters already. So I'm definitely on board for this. The first 2 were both great. Everyone loved them. Granted, this looks like it's made by a different company, but that company is Nintendo. So, let's do it. I'm just hoping my girl Squirrel Girl shows up. Maybe Devil Dinosaur too. Alright, now the first words you see in this trailer, and you'll know because you just saw them, is a brand new game. And I'll stop you right there because no, it's not. Brand new starts with the word brand, which this is. This is a big established brand. This is a huge moneymaker for Microsoft now that they bought it out from that dude who made all the money in the world. So it's not new. It's a continuation of an existing franchise. You could say it's a new game. You could say it's a new Minecraft game, or it's a new dungeon crawler, but don't say brand new, because no, it's not. You're wrong, and words have meanings, use them right. That being said, it is a dungeon crawler. I generally love those, I'll probably buy the stupid thing anyway.
I won't tell anyone. I promise. No, please.
Alright, now you know what? When I played the first Psychonauts game, I loved it. I really did. It's an awesome game. But the second one, when I was going through, I was watching the trailer, I couldn't help but think to myself, meh. I mean, it just, I don't know. The trailer didn't really do anything. It didn't do anything to get me hyped. I wasn't excited. It didn't give away anything that said, oh man, I gotta buy this game. I was more excited for the Minecraft one, and that's gonna be a stupid game. So this is just, I don't really care. This is one I might pick up used later on if I can find a complete copy for cheap, but not rushing out to buy this thing.
Well, another year, another E3. How are you feeling about this year's slate of hot content?
Honestly, man, I'm pretty excited. A lot of my favorite games are getting announced this year.
Alright, I can't react to all these because they announced a bunch. But I'll show quick little clippy things of all the ones I'm excited for. Actually an impressive list. It was. I'm not going to say all the names again, A, because I might add or delete a clip after the fact, and then it'll sound stupid when it doesn't match, and B, because there was a bunch. I will say, though, there are some exciting new ones on the list that I wasn't expecting. I follow limited run games. I buy most of the stuff they put out. I'm on their newsletter. I support the guys a lot. It's kind of like the people over at I Am 8-Bit or Pico Interactive or any of them. I love people that make physical copies of games that aren't usually physical or make new games for old consoles. They fall into this category, so I love them. And I'm excited for these games. You should be too. Also, come on. They're bringing back Turok. How cool is that?
And catches his cap on the icicle. Meanwhile, the completionist is taking a nice little Sunday cruise, and he sees the trap ahead. Oh, but he jumps too early, and he falls into the lava. Abdallah with the chance to take the lead. He's got to navigate, but he falls to the same fate as earlier and already.
Alright, now, I didn't see a trailer for this game, just the invitational gameplay. But watching that, the game looks like more of the same, which we all knew it was going to be. That's fine. We can be excited for more of the same. I am. I get to put in the sun from Mario 3 and torture people with it. That's awesome. What really I thought more and more as I kept watching this video is that, man, these people are terrible at Mario. When there's spaces in between each block and it goes block, space, block, space, block, space, you don't have to jump. Just hold the run button and go! This is just like Mario Maker. It's more of the same. It's a new game in an old franchise. It's doing the same thing, but slightly shinier and not even really that much shinier. That's not a bad thing, don't get me wrong. If you like Animal Crossing, this is a new Animal Crossing, you'll probably buy it. But You knew what it was before you saw the trailer, so yeah, go buy it, I guess, if you want. Okay, now, I have a good friend who I pick on a lot for fangirling over Final Fantasy VII. It's her favorite Final Fantasy game. She's wrong, but she thinks it's the best, and whatever. That being said, when I saw this trailer and saw how just gorgeously rendered the game was, and how really, really good they did in revamping this, and the really tiny details that they paid attention to and got right in here, this looked great, and I'm going to end up buying it. But if you really want to get me excited, Final Fantasy VIII. I want a fully HD rendered Gunblade. You do that, I'm on board. Okay, now, the hero from Dragon Quest, or Dragon Warrior, whatever you call it, coming into the game brings some really awesome music. Having another generic sword fighter in the game, I don't really care, but for the music alone, buying this. Like I didn't already have the season pass, I'm getting all of them anyway. Now this, Banjo-Kazooie, this is way more exciting. First of all, it means that Microsoft and Nintendo really can play nice together, and I'm completely on board with that. This cross-play thing needs to happen more often. These companies need to work together. Everyone wins in these scenarios. Second, this is a different kind of character. We get a new fighting style, a new tactic, a new everything. It's just, it feels more new, it feels more exciting. I think it's going to bring more to the game than just another sword fighter. But really, what I think is most important here is that both of these characters were leaked a long time ago in a list of the 4 characters that were going to fill in the rest of the roster after Joker. And these 2 were not only leaked, but were the next 2 to come out in the order on this thing. So he got not only the characters, but the order right. Which makes me wonder if numbers 4 and 5 were already leaked too. I'm not going to tell you what they are in case you don't want spoilers, but figure out how Google works and you can find it on your own. Anyway, it'd be cool to see. Alright, between the Harley Quinn comics that I've been reading lately and the Battle Angel Alita movie, I feel like roller derbies are, for some unknown reason, being jammed down my throat lately. That being said, this looks like a really new, unique game. I can't think of any roller derby games offhand. I mean, I guess Funhouse for the NES, but that's about it. And that's a really old game. So, this might be kind of cool. I'm definitely going to pick it up. And it's probably not a $60 title for me, but, you know, if it's in the 30 to 40 range, yeah, this looks fun. Alright, Edge of Tomorrow was an okay movie at best. So this game that looks to be the exact same premise, but in a game? It didn't need to happen. Nobody asked for that. This is what I'm talking about when I say I'm not interested in first-person shooters. This looks really stupid.
Because when darkness comes, I might be gone.
Yep, in case you forgot, zombies are still a thing. Oh, praise be to Jeebus! I thought they were actually going to go all E3 without showing a Battle Royale game. Thank you! I mean, what would the people do if they didn't have a new Battle Royale game and just had to keep playing Fortnite and PUBG? Like, how do you go on with that? In case you couldn't tell, I was being sarcastic. Nobody cares. now this is a franchise I dig. I had the original on Dreamcast, played it a bunch, definitely a cool game. They had some, not mobile, but portable ones like on the Game Boy Advance and stuff, in the 3DS2, I believe? Not 3DS2, but 3DS also. I really think MMOs belong on PCs. Like, that's where they belong. Like, we've barely figured out how to do RTS as well on a console with a controller. Let's definitely leave these kinds of MMO games where they belong. Also, I should probably point out that the game is actually, 7 years old. Japan's had it forever. They've already mastered it. They've already unlocked all the content and done everything. So, giving us the game now, not only is it going to be on a console, I mean, there's a PC version too, but if you get the console, not only is it not optimized for the controller, but you're way behind everyone else you're playing against. So, good luck pugging into a group. Okay, so I think this trailer technically dropped before E3, but E3 seems to start a week before it starts anyway, so who cares? The point is, it's inspired by Zelda and Studio Ghibli. I love Zelda. I love Studio Ghibli. So, this is gonna be awesome. Speaking of things that are based on Zelda, this looks really cool. The only downside is now I have to play Crypt of the Necrodancer and actually get good at it because I'm terrible and I need to not be terrible when a Zelda-skinned version of the game comes out. And yes, if and when I ever get a game room again, I will definitely review that game. Okay, I know everyone else is excited. I know I should be, because it's my favorite franchise. But lately, I'm starting to consider that as not true, and maybe something else is. Because can we please get away from these cel-shaded graphics in Zelda? Stop! We haven't had a proper 3D rendered game since Twilight Princess. There's been like 5 entries in the franchise since then. Stop! No one wants these cartoony graphics. Yes, I know, no one is hyperbole. Some people do. Those people are wrong. Besides, they had their turn. Go back to what the rest of us want. Give us cool-looking games again. Alright, now this is cool. I love the fly-by-wire shooter games. I love Star Fox. I spent $1,000 on this laser active right here and another $100 just to get Pyramid Patrol for it. That's a lot of money for one game, but it was worth it because I love those fly-by-wire games, and that's what Panzer Dragoon is. That's what it's always been. I actually have every game in this franchise. Don't ask how much those cost, but this is cool. Definitely getting this remake. Alright, now Konami just put out the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, and as you saw from the thing, they're doing a Contra one now too. And that's really cool. However, if this is anything like the Castlevania one, it's digital only, and I'm not interested. Unless someone puts it on a physical cart, and since Limited Run had a presentation at E3, maybe Konami caught it and they'll team up, and that would be awesome, because if it's not physical, I'm not interested. I don't want a digital download code that won't work in a few years when the servers go offline. I want a game, I want something I can hold in my hand, put in a console, play, it'd be great, so do that, Konami, please, thanks.
If you learn from the past and act in the present, you can rewrite the future.
I'm really curious to see how these time mechanics play out with the whole past, present, future thing, because if you do time mechanics right in a game, a lot of games have tried, not all of them have succeeded, but if you do it right, you can make a really decent game, something to like Zelda Oracle of Ages or Braid. And this has that potential, so I definitely want to see more of this and see where it goes and how they make it work. And that is all the videos. Just all of them. Or at least all the ones I cared about. So like Call of Duty and Halo and Gears, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the same game it's always been. You're going to play online with other people and shoot each other. You'll do half of the solo adventure one time, maybe, and then you'll just go online and play the same 12 maps over and over for all of eternity until next year when the new iterations come out. It's stupid to watch that trailer. And yes, there's probably a couple other trailers that slipped by me. There was a new Contra game, and there was a couple other things, but a lot of these trailers were either just meh, or I just didn't catch them, or whatever. This video is already long enough, and you're probably not even watching at this point anyway. But if you are, and you liked what you saw, and you're glad that I'm back, A, you're lying, and B, let me know down below what game you're most excited for, and when I have a game room again, which one should I review? Or just tell me what other game you want me to review. Or just tell me how much you love my fat, fat face. Anywho, that's all. Bye, peeps.